I want you to write out what is the skill set that you are going to acquire over the next 12 to 18 months. What are you going to get really, really good at? What are you going to get really, really good at? Find a recession necessary product or service. And your product or service might be recession necessary already, but you don't realize it. So we started this morning meetup pre-recession. Yes? Yes. Okay, great. But now I understand how the morning meetup is a recession necessary service. Because if we don't stick together in this thing, we are going to crumble. This is the time for collaboration. This is a recession necessary service.
7:45 a.m. Catch me on the morning meetup, hosted by David Shanes.
I see that we have someone who's not normally on the call, Mr. Pushman Mitch, but I'm going to toss it to Senior Dave to introduce our host.
Absolutely. Well, I am the host, okay? It's just my boy called me this morning, man, and we were talking about this free summit we're doing for the next 3 days, and we were talking, chopping it up today. I was like, yo, Pushman Mitch, I'm talking about how to prepare for a recession, man. What's up, Pushman Mitch? I actually call him Pushman Mitch. I don't like shorten it. Not Push, Pushman. I'll call him Mitch.
What's up, Dave? What's up,
His name is Pushman Mitch. What's up, man? How you feeling?
Man, stress-free, just up in the office, just ready to attack the day full throttle.
Absolutely. I love it, man. So look, we got to jump into this thing, man. And I'm glad you're here. I would like to hear your thoughts on the coming recession, okay? We can't ignore it. We can't just act like it doesn't exist, because it does. However, I want to know, I'm curious, what are your thoughts? What are your feelings? And why do you live so high in the air?
I feel like the recession is a mindset. So I think what happens is it's a way to kind of establish fear amongst the masses. The mindset is that, regardless if there's a recession, if the economy's booming, there's always poor and there's always rich people. So regardless of that fact, I mean, you got to choose which one you want to be. You can buy into the mindset that the recession is true, which means that, it's going to be more difficult to get things accomplished. But actually, that's just a mindset. I mean, it's just the way things are, just the way things are. It's just kind of like when the gas prices go up, we get upset, whatever, but are we going to stop driving? No, I think we're just going to figure out a way to continue driving. So that's why I feel like it's just a mindset. So, that's my take on pretty much everything. It's all in between these two ears right here.
I love it. I love it. So in terms of preparation, because there are, like, we're looking at the news. I think Twitter might have just laid off mad people. We're seeing these big companies doing big layoffs, which means it's not as, I think a lot of people got relaxed where the government just kept pushing money into the world, into the country. But now, I mean, some things have to we have to make certain adjustments in some way. Like what are the meetings going on with your team? What's happening?
Well, as far as my team is concerned, I'm not downsizing, actually. I'm deciding to increase the size of my company. I was just on a phone call last night, hiring someone internally to do my taxes and bookkeeping. I won't be outsourcing anymore to CPA companies and things of that nature. I'm hiring a couple new virtual assistants. I think the preparation should be just being prepared for anything that could possibly happen. So versus waiting for something to happen and having a reaction, I think we should just take action now. Just as far as, knowing what you want your numbers to be and knowing what you got to have to get those numbers, preparing for whatever the economy throws at you. That's kind of what we're talking about now. Scaling, not declining.
I love it. I love it. All right. I'm gonna get into some of my notes, and I'm gonna bring you back randomly. Okay. Hear your thoughts. All right. So we're gonna jump into this thing right here. Okay. So preparing for a recession, guys. Listen, it is things are changing, right? We had the whole COVID-19 world pandemic. We can't act like it wasn't a pandemic, because it was. However, like Pushman Mitch said, it was all a mindset. There were some people that scaled back and got afraid, but there were some people that leaned in. The people that leaned in took advantage of all the money that the government printed. The people that scaled back got afraid. And they said, whoa, I can't order more shirts. They're not going to buy them. Oh, no, 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 no. I got to close my doors. Oh, no, 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 no. I'm running and hiding. So it is a 100% a mindset. So the first thing I want to discuss is that this is the time for you to grow. Okay, put grow in the chat real quick. Throw grow in the chat. Now is the time for you to grow in a bunch of different areas. Yo, my gosh. The last couple weeks have been growth for me. Heavy growth in a bunch of areas, especially business. Like understanding that I still have a whole lot of work to do as a leader. Here's what's cool. You can still get rich not having it all figured out. And I will be the first person to tell you, well, probably my wife will be the first to tell you that I don't got it all figured out. She'll be the first to let you know I do not got it figured out. But this is a time to grow. Now, it's always a time to grow, but I'm going to use this opportunity to tell you that it's a time to grow. And you have to keep a positive mindset. That is vital. Here's the opportunity. If you listen to Patrick Bet-David, if you listen to Gary Vee, if you listen to some of these millionaires, multimillionaires, billionaires, they are going to tell you that this is going to be the greatest chance that you have in your lifetime to become wealthy. If you listen to the news, they are going to tell you that everything is going to crumble. But if you listen to the people who are all the way up, they will tell you that this is going to be the greatest opportunity in your lifetime, but you have to prepare. You're either going to see obstacles or you're going to see opportunities. The obstacles that are going to show up in your life, they will be bigger or smaller based on how you see them. You're walking down the road, there's a car in your way. Oh my gosh, there's a car. I can't get to my goal. Oh my goodness. What happens if I go around the car? What is going to happen? They're going to take me to jail because that's illegal to go off of the road. If I go over the car, oh my gosh, what will happen if I try to jump over the car and I trip and fall and break my leg? If I break my leg, I can't go to work. If I can't go to work, I won't have any money. If I won't have any money, I won't be able to eat, and then we'll all perish, and then I'll be homeless. And this is how people see it. I was in a workshop one day, and we're making a pitch. Y'all know what a pitch is, right? I'm selling you something. At the end of the presentation, I'm selling you something. This guy says, well, what if you don't have the money? And I'm like, well, you either don't have the money or you do. And if you don't, you're either going to go get the money or you're going to say, I don't have the money, and you can't take advantage of this opportunity, this pitch that I'm pitching. So other questions go around. This other guy raised his hand. He said, hey, all right, I think I'm ready. Same guy. I think I'm ready. But what happens? No, I cannot make this stuff up. And if I find the recording, I will pull it. I will bring it to this call. He said, well, what happens if somebody in your family gets sick? Like, what happens if my mom gets sick and I need the money back? I said, what? Like, what do you, huh? That's where your mind goes? I cannot make this stuff up. I was so shocked. It was a deadening silence in the room. I said, what? I don't know why. One, why would you say that? Two, like, why would you say something about your mom getting sick? Like, for one, why? Two, why does your mind go to that immediately? Out of all the things, out of all the hypothetical situations, that's where your mind goes. There's an obstacle in the person's way and he can't move the obstacle. Okay, listen, don't be fearful. Your environment is important. We're going to have these calls. We're going to be here every day. If you think that due to this recession, I'm not going to be on here giving you guys game on how to make money and how to grow as an entrepreneur and how to grow as a person, if you think that the morning meetup is going to shut down because of a recession, you are crazy. You have to be in this environment. This is an environment that's going to encourage you and teach you every single day, okay? We got people like rock stars, like Pushman Mitch. We just happened to be talking this morning, and look at his background. He lives in the air. I want to live in the air one day. I don't live in the air yet. Right. Last thing, and then I want to get Mitch. I want to get your any points that I missed on this. It's time to grow spot. My last thing is you have to study the industry in tough times. Not in tough times to study the industry, but study the industry in tough times. I have a young lady creating a report right now of what goes on in media during rough economic times. I need to study my craft. I need to know because history repeats itself. One thing I do know is I'm pushing people jumping into podcasting even more because if as a recession hits and if everybody gets afraid and nobody's outside spending, where are they going to go? Back in the house. What are they going to do in the house? They're going to watch me or they're going to watch you. My following is probably going to grow. My subscribership is probably going to grow. My podcast is officially going to grow. Why? Because when people get afraid, they go in the house, and when they're in the house, they're listening to content creators. Pushman Mitch, I want to, before I get to my second point, man, I need to hear your perspective. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of the things you said. I mean, pretty much everything. And to follow up with it, I want to talk about the same thing you just said about podcasting and just letting things grow. I started a podcast at the top of the year. And basically at the top of the year, I gave myself about 3 to 4 months to get my content together, get a lot of high quality stuff going on and to build it up. And we got to understand that sometimes when you're building things up, you can't actually see the ceiling. So basically, I did it in about 8-9 months in now, and I'm just getting paid for having a podcast like now. And a lot of people won't do it based off of the fact that they're not getting paid, or they pivot based off of the fact that they're not making money. But when you do the work and you increase the value of something, the money comes later. And once it comes, it never stops coming in. So to tell a story and make it sound even cooler and factual, people pay to get on my podcast now because they see the value in it. And like 2 days ago, 4 people, booked to come be a guest on the show. And the fact of the matter is I made no money at all until this past month. Literally, I was paid for the podcast. I paid for the equipment. I paid for the team to shoot all the videos, for the lights, everything, for the actual place where I shoot it at, which is this high rise here. It wasn't free. It cost me every single month, $4,000 a month. And I don't need 3 bedrooms. I'm just one person, but I have my office here that I'm in. I have my studio over here to the right, and I have the room that I sleep in. But at the end of the day, it was costing me money until now. It just paid me $50,000 in 1 second. Like, it just was like, hey, yeah, I just followed up with everybody who wanted to be a guest on the podcast. And they said, yeah, how much is it? I'm like, 10,000. They're like, okay, 5,000 now, 5,000 when they show up. They paid it right away. But a lot of people would have pivoted and get discouraged or switch to a different industry instead of focusing on building the value up of their brand. And that's a lot of the issues that we see. And you'll see that in the recession as well. We'll start focusing on the money, focusing on what the media is saying, focusing on panicking and not studying your market and things of that nature. And you kind of won't even understand the process and how it goes. So I just want you guys to really dig deep and just don't kind of be scared and afraid of what they're saying. Just believe in self and believe in what you got going on, because we create our own economy, believe it or not. We create all of these things, all of these fears. We create all of these opportunities as well. So make sure you choose wisely on what you create.
I love it. I love it. Appreciate that, Pushman Mitch. I'm going to point 2, man. So I'm definitely going to need your thoughts on this one. Here we go. Number 2, we got to study your financial situation, your current financial situation. This is important in any season. Whether it's recession, whether it's wintertime, springtime, whether it's your birthday, we need to know where we are financially in our financial situation. So I need you to know how much money you have. I know there was a point in my life I had no idea how much money I had. I knew about what my check was going to be. I knew about what my paycheck was going to be. I knew about what I would make in tips that night at the Cheesecake Factory, but I had no idea how much money I had or the lack of it. Okay, just bear with me. You don't have to say it out loud. But how many people this year have swiped their credit card or debit card and anxiety hit you instantly? How many people? You don't have to say it. Don't put yourself out there, okay? All right? You swipe that card and your heart starts racing. Everything happens in your mind. You're automatically thinking of what you're going to say as a result of anything that could happen. You start getting your story together. How many people, here's what's crazy. How many people have money now, but still, when you give that debit card to that waitress, you have been so scarred, or what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word? Not like triggered, but you know what I mean? You're like traumatized. You've been traumatized because they come back, whisper in your ear on the low, and they act like some PTSD. Credit card PTSD. You don't know if they're gonna come back. The waitress bends down. Something's wrong with the card. Or, do you have another one? And there's nothing's wrong with that card. Ain't nothing wrong. Ain't nothing happened to that card, okay? But I need us to know how much money we have. Do you know? Do you know? Let's start calculating our net worth, okay? Your net worth, all the stuff you own, minus all the stuff you owe. Let's just get a handle on where we are. Let's just get a handle on where we are. And as it gets bigger, I am honestly, in my personal financial situation, I am more clear. But business, it always changes, especially with kind of all the stuff that we're doing financial. But I talk to my accountant pretty much every day. I need to know where we are, man. Hey, do me a favor. List out all your expenses, necessary and unnecessary. Just list out all of your expenses, necessary and unnecessary, okay? Maybe after the call, let's just list out all our expenses. This is a good practice for any time, but because we're talking about recession, I have to make it more important. Even though when things are good, you should still make it extremely important to list out all the expenses, necessary and unnecessary. Do me one more favor. I wanted you to go into your bank account today, write today in the chat, put today in the chat. I want you to put today in the chat, today. I need you to go into your bank account, go over the last 3 months and identify every single expense, every single one of them. This will give you a clear picture of your habits. It will give you a clear picture of who you are, where you are, and what the heck is going on. Why you have money on Friday, but no more by Tuesday. It will explain everything. It will also explain how we're always waiting for our check to pay for something that we don't have the money for yet, but we're waiting for it. It'll explain that. Why we don't have any money on Wednesday and we have to get there on Friday, but by the time Friday comes, we have to pay for stuff that happened on Wednesday. It will explain it. Okay, are you going to do it? If you're committed to doing it today, just say, I'll do it. Just put it in the chat. I'll do it. I'll do that. I'll list out all my expenses, necessary and unnecessary. I'll see that one of my expenses, you might find out that being single is an expense because you're outside and you feel the pressure while you're at the bar. If a young lady is there, you want to talk to her, but you feel like the only way to talk to her is to buy that conversation. Drinks used to be $5. I think they're like 15 now. I don't know. Plus tip 20. You get one, she get one. That's 40. You're down 40 because you want to have a conversation. She'll accept it, but nothing's coming up that. And you got to run through the numbers. You might talk to 4 people that night and really get a. I don't know why I'm. All right, let me just move. I don't know where that came from.
It gets real, Dave.
It gets real. Let me ask you, Mitch, what are some of the necessary expenses in your life and the unnecessary expenses that if you were, let's say you were like in an expansion time or you're dumping a bunch of cash into an investment, you really got to pay attention to it. It's not as free. What are some of the necessary expenses and what are some unnecessary expenses that you could cut if you wanted to?
Necessary expenses clearly is utilities, car notes, in my industry, car loans, mortgages, just the stuff to keep the business going, inventory stuff, all of that stuff is necessary. Unnecessary stuff is just the extracurriculars, like trips where I don't gotta take a trip, I'm not necessarily going out for business, but I'm just like, I want to go. just unnecessary things, certain subscriptions that I don't need. You can kind of look at all of those because we started taking subscriptions for stuff that we really don't need. I got Netflix, Hulu, HBO, all of that stuff, but I only watch Netflix for real. Or, what I mean? But I want to have it just so if I do want to look at something that comes out, I can. So it's a lot of small stuff that does add up. You just don't pay attention to it. And I'll give you one even better, Dave. That's why we're hiring a tax guy internally, because we just, the tax deadline just came up not too long ago. We filed, but my CPA that I was using at the time, they literally dropped the ball in one of the most incredible ways I've seen. And because I wasn't paying attention, it could have cost me a lot of paper. Luckily, I filed and didn't pay. So now we can amend it and make it right. But I caught it just in time to fire them and then be able to go do my thing. But they said that my personal expenses from the business was $700,000. Now, how could that be possible? I'm a minimalist. I don't spend money on myself. I'm still wearing H&M hoodies, man. But anyway, so it's impossible. And then they had this year, my personal expenses were over $1 million. So clearly that was a ball dropper. Then we go look at what those expenses were with my new guy, and he's got, TV mounting services. Clearly they mounted TVs in the office. You got paying for furniture, $22,000. They like his personal expense. I'm like, this is interesting that this was even fall out of the, but the people who I were using is through a company and they were quitting. So I had my first lady, she passed it on to another guy. He took over, then he went part-time, then quit. And so, they just hurried up my account. And I was like one of the highest grossing accounts at the whole firm. And they didn't really know how to play. So I was using the wrong people and I wasn't paying attention to what they were doing. And that could have cost me a lot of money. When I say a lot of money, y'all, I'm not playing, like money that I do not want to give or even have to give because I have necessary expenses that money needs to go to. So everything that Dave was saying about paying attention and pulling out what you're spending, where it's going, knowing how much you have is very important because it can cost you in the long run if you don't catch it.
I love it. Appreciate that, Pushman Mitch. I'm bringing you right back in a minute. Check this out. Next point, okay? In the same point to studying your financial situation, I need you to find other ways. I need you to find some ways other than shopping or spending money to enjoy yourself. Boredom is expensive. Drop that on you real quick. Boredom is expensive. If you have nothing to do, you will go spend some money. You need to pick up a hobby or something. You need to have certain task lists or something that has you working on your business, working on your entrepreneurial endeavors. Because if you are sitting in the house afraid and scared of what the news told you, you will lose more money because you'll be in the house and TV is selling you something. Radio is selling you something. On podcasts, they're going to sell you something. You're going to DoorDash your life away and you're going to buy stuff because you have a little bit of money. You think because you're going in the house and you're not spending it outside, it's not as dangerous on the inside. I'm just telling you, you need to find something to do with your money. Find a hobby. If it's not going to be a business, find a hobby, okay? Because boredom is expensive. I'm telling you. It costs you. Not only even the money that you spend, but all the money that you waste not doing anything. Okay, so we need to fill up them hours. Okay, next, listen. I think it's important and I'm torn on this one, but you should start paying down your debt. So I paid off my studio because I didn't want the debt, and two, I didn't want to pay the interest. However, I still reserve the right to be able to take cash out of that investment and put it into something else. So I'm kind of torn on that, but for the people who just keep getting more and more debt, my brother, he just went through Dave Ramsey's course, and he's better with finances. He's paying down his debt. He's not into getting any debt. He's paying for everything in cash, and that's good for him. So that advice would be good for some of you all, but others who are entrepreneurs that you're leveraging everything, and Pushman Mitch is the king of leverage. It's a different conversation. I don't want to go too deep into it, but for those who keep getting more and more debt, just stop that. Just stop that, especially if you can't manage it and you can't leverage it into income. Okay. Next thing, calculate all your assets and sell what you can. Well, sell what can be sold. Calculate all your assets and sell what can be sold. This is not. I'm not telling you to downsize. However, there's a bunch of sneakers in my closet, and even though I'm not in financial trouble, sometimes it's wise to just take all that stuff and sell it. Especially, I have shoes that I have never even worn, and I bought them 4 or 5 years ago. I got the white grape 5s and the black grape 5s, and I think I probably bought them in like 2014.
Damn.
Never wore them. And I don't know what I'm saving them for. I don't know what I'm reserving. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. They're just there. But for some people, especially as you start to invest, you need to get all of that stuff out of your closet. You need to start selling some of that stuff back. Listen, all that for some of you, you need to let them come take that furniture that you bought that don't nobody sit in that dining room. Let's get as much cash as we can so we can invest into a business that's going to pay us more money. Okay. I'm just asking in this whole set to let's find out where we are financially. Let's just find out where we are. Pushman Mitch, round it out before I go to my third point.
Oh yeah, I wanted to speak on about acquiring more debt and things of that nature and spending money every day, right? So to that point, like we have to know what that word offset means. Like we spend money every day. People, that's what we do. Literally every single day we spend money. Mm-hmm. Y'all know that, right? All of us, every day. Every single day. There's no day where we're like, oh yeah, I ain't spend no money today. We got bills coming out. We got subscriptions coming out. We go get gas. We go get food. We go get something every single day. If you don't have something to offset that, literally, you are literally in debt for like the rest of your life, regardless of how much money you start making. It will never balance out if you don't have something to offset. That's why we encourage entrepreneurship in some capacity, investing in some capacity, having a business, something that can generate income as much as you are spending or more. Clearly more is the perspective. But what you guys need to understand is that we need to all at some point in our life have something that draws income to ourselves outside of what we work for. That's how you kind of offset it. So like if you guys can, like I said, he's talking about finding something new, a new skill that can bring in income to offset that. And I want you guys to try to find that thing. It doesn't have to be something complex that makes you millions of dollars. And a lot of y'all don't understand that these things add up. Small percentages add up. That little 40, that little 30, that little 20, like people, oh, it's just $20, but it really, really adds up. I know a friend that every time they seen like change on the ground, they always would pick it up and be like, there we go. I'm adding it to the bank. And they literally, I watched somebody go with my brother, Charles Noonan, and empty out a coin jar to buy a property, a land bank property. And it's literally been used from change. They scrambled the change together and went and bought it. So a lot of us wouldn't have used that. Used our money out of our pocket that we just earned from maybe our 9-to-5, maybe our business, and we could have just used money that we've been stacking up the whole entire time. Just like those companies, if you think about fintech companies, things of that nature, they take a small percentage from everyone. They're not trying to get $1 million at you from one time. They just know that every single time you swipe a credit card, they get a percentage because you're using their financial technology. So if you don't know what that is, like to explain it real quickly, every single place that you go to, they have a POS system, which takes credit cards and debit cards. Back in the day, it used to be a register. You handle money, they pull money out their register, they give you change back. Now they have POS systems to where pretty much every store, they have it to where you can use a credit card or debit card. There's a percentage that goes to the company that has the fintech, the technology. And you don't know, you don't care about it. All you're doing is just swiping real quick. But they get paid every single time that every single person uses their card. It's a small baby percentage, but it adds up. So we can think of ways that we can do that as well. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. But I'm going to run through 2 more points, then we're going to come back and just do Q&A. I'm going to run through these joints, then we're going to come back and we're going to ask some questions and we're going to get to it. Listen, if y'all with me, say I'm with you. Hey, put some on your stories, okay? Let everybody know the morning meetup is litty, itty, okay? Just throw it on your stories real quick. Let's go through these last 2, and then we're going to do some Q&A real quick, okay? Now, next, let's learn a new skill. Okay, let's learn a new skill. Number 3 is learn a new skill. Number 1 is it's time to grow. We got to start growing. Number 2, we got to get a handle on our financial situation. Let's just identify where we are financially. Number 3, it's time to learn a new skill. Now, The skill doesn't have to be something brand new, like a brand new industry, okay? My objective is to learn a new skill in my business. You know what my new skill is right now? Leadership. In these times, I'm looking for growing as a leader. Also, what is another new skill? Being able to manage not only just my show, but multiple projects. Not being able to manage multiple businesses, but I'm looking to open up my my network, and I have to manage different people's show, keep everybody inspired, while simultaneously still building my own. This is a skill set that I'm studying right now. You need to learn a new skill. Now, some of you need to learn a skill that's going to make you some money because you don't have a skill that's going to make you money. You think you're a good speaker, so you think your gift is going to make you money. I get what you're saying. I understand you. It's just a terrible way of looking at things. Okay, I know what you're saying. Oh my gosh, Dave, you're going to get the Bible. Bible said my gift going to make room for me. You think your gift is one thing. When your gift is something that's inside of you that I have a gift. Let's say I have a gift of communication. I think I'm a gifted communicator. From a child, I could talk my way out of a beating. There was a couple times where my dad was going to beat me, but we had a conversation and I let him know, Dad, I didn't do anything wrong. Okay, you're looking at this wrong. You're about to punish your child because of what a teacher said. You don't even know that teacher. And I got some friends. I'll call my friends right now and tell you the same thing, that she be wilding, Dad. But okay, before you decide to beat me, let's all have a conversation. Let's all talk about it, Dad. You told me don't just go off what people tell you. I learned it, gifted, right? But that's not what made me a bunch of money or help me build a business. It's when I read How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's when I decided to start a morning meetup call where I get to work on my communication every single day. It's really when I started working at the Cheesecake Factory and I had to sell people certain cheesecakes. I had to sell people on spending more than they normally would spend so that I can get a bigger tip. If you spend $100, if you're going to tip me 20%, I make $20. If I can get you to spend $150, I'll make $30. So I have to work on my ability to paint a picture on why it's foolish to eat all this food and not leave with dessert. Are you crazy? It's your birthday and y'all not going to have drinks? What are we ordering lemonade for? What are we talking about right now? And this is how I would talk to my tables, right? But because I took a gift where I don't mind. I'm not introverted. I don't mind having a conversation. That might be a gift, but I had to work on my skill of sales, taking my gift and turning it into something that's going to help me in the long run. Does that make sense? So this could be a time of preparation for post-recession expansion. Let's just start. Let's just start now, okay? I'm going to start my leadership skill set training right now. And in 12 months, 18 months, or whatever, by the end of all of this, I'll be such a great leader. And then I'm ready for post-recession expansion. Let's just focus on getting good. Say getting good. Just getting good. Actually, don't even put that. Do me a favor. I want you to write out what is the skill set that you are going to acquire over the next 12 to 18 months. What are you going to get really, really good at? What are you going to get really, really good at? Come on, talk to me. Selling. I love it. I love it. We got to get this organization. These are the skill sets. Consistency. Woo-wee. Consistency is a skill set. Focus, stock market. I love it. I love it. I love it. Y'all talking good right now. All right, cool. I'm going to run through it because we're going to leave 10 minutes for Q&A. Okay. We got to get good at something. And find a recession necessary product or service. And your product or service might be recession necessary already, but you don't realize it. So we started this morning meetup pre-recession. Yes. Okay, great. But now I understand how the morning meetup is a recession necessary service. Because if we don't stick together in this thing, we are going to crumble. This is the time for collaboration. This is a recession necessary service. Okay, you're saying, oh, Dave, I do hair. How is this recession necessary? You need to figure out how it's recession necessary. You mean to tell me this isn't going to be the biggest opportunity for branding? Listen, people are not going to be spending all their money with whoever like they did last year. They're going to be spending money with the best of the best. And if you can present yourself presentably with a new style, or you're always up on it, you will automatically attract more customers. So you giving me the $300 to do your hair is going to make you thousands. This is a recession necessary service. You better listen. Now ain't the time to go down on your brand and stop getting your hair did. Okay, real quick. Last thing. We got to start considering collaboration. Okay, this is in the last point. We got to start considering collaboration. We are stronger together. Can you throw that in the chat? I know it's kind of long, but we are stronger together. We are stronger together. We are stronger together. We are stronger together. That is my phrase for the next few years. Okay, we are stronger together. We are stronger together. One business with two partners is easier than one business with one partner where you got to do it all yourself.
If you like the video that you just watched, click this one. You're going to like this one, maybe even more. Click it right now.